Why do the Gospels have differing stories when it comes to the resurrection? Now, this is a question that I saw the Cowboy Muslim bring up, and I think it's actually a really important question to consider. Often, when Christians come upon these discrepancies, one of the things that they try to do is try to find a way to fit them all together, as if it's one cohesive narrative. But it doesn't need to be, and there's a good reason why. The simple solution here is that people got the stories wrong. They simply got the details wrong, and that's okay. Because we should expect that because humans are the ones who witnessed this type of stuff. They're the ones who passed on this information, and they're the ones who wrote down this information. Humans are valuable, they make mistakes, and that's okay. We also have to factor in the fact that people perceive things differently. Even though multiple people can all witness the same exact event, they often will not tell that same story in the same exact way. That's something that we should expect, regardless of whether it's the Gospels or just a news story. The details are going to change depending on who is telling that story. Now, sometimes these details can be exaggerated, sometimes they can be changed later on while you're trying to recall that information and people are asking you specific questions. That can change how you remember that story. But when we look at the resurrection story, those small details don't really matter. That's not the point of that story. One other thing that we have to factor into this is that we're looking at oral tradition. Now, oral tradition can pass on information pretty accurately. When we look at studies about oral tradition, we get this idea that they do pass on the heart of the story pretty well. We get the gist of the story. But often the details, the surrounding ideas, can become a little bit fuzzy. They can change a little bit. But the heart of the story is still accurate, that the gist of the story is still there. Now, that's exactly what we see in the story of the resurrection. We do see some of the details getting a little fuzzy, but none of the details really matter there. What matters is the heart of the story, the gist of the story. That is, there was an empty tomb, that Jesus had been resurrected. That's the core of the story. That's the thing that all these stories get the same. Yes, they get the details, a little bit off, but that's what we expect when looking at history. When we put this all into focus, as historians, this is exactly what we expect. We expect, yes, some of the outside details being a little fuzzy, but that the inside core of the story being there. So it's really not a problem at all.